Dear students, I am Dr. Kumar, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Government First Aid College, Shillong. The topic of today's lecture is the morphology of insect head. That belongs to paper 4, that is insect vectors and diseases. As all of you know that the insect head, it is always in anterior in most of the insect body. It is hard and highly sclerotized structure. Sclerotized means that is a hard exoskeleton which consisting of 6 segments that are fused to form a head capsule. The insect head consists of mouth parts, compound eyes, simple eyes and single pair of antennae as the sensory structures. The head segments can be divided into 2 regions, that is procephalon and gnathocephalon. The insect head formed by the fusion of 6 segments. So that is, the first segment is called as procephalon and the second segment is called as gnathocephalon. So in procephalon 3 segments are present and in gnathocephalon 3 segments are present. So in each segment, what are the structures are present, I have shown in the table. So in procephalon, the first segment is having the first pre-antennary segment. The second segment is the second antennary segment. The third is intercalary segments. So in the second segment, you can see the antennas are present. The next region, that is second region, is called as gnathocephalon. Gnathocephalon is also made up of 3 segments. The first segment is having the gnathocephalon is made up of mouth parts. Okay, the first segment is having the mandibular segment constitutes the mandibles, that is the grinding structures, and the second segment is first maxillary segment having the maxilla, the mouth parts, and the third segment is having second maxillary segment or the labial segment. The next is the types of insect head. Types of insect head based on the inclination of long axis of the head and orientation of mouth parts. That is the angle of the head and to which the mouth parts are present. Okay, based on the inclination of the long axis of the head and the orientation of mouth, there are 3 types of insect heads have been categorized. That is the hypognathous, prognathous and opistognathous. Let us see one by one. The first one is hypognathous. Hypo, that is hypo means below, gnathos means jaw. Okay, so below the jaws there are the mouth is present and mouth is constituted or it is having the mouth parts. The head remain vertical and it is at right angles to the long axis of the body, and the mouth parts are ventrally placed and projected downwards. This is known as orthopterygoid type of the head. Okay, so the example is grasshopper and cockroach. In hypognathous, so the head remains vertical in position, vertical, and it is always at right angles to the long axis of the head. The mouth parts are present. The mouth parts are present ventrally to the head, placed and projected downwards. This is known as the orthopterygoid type. Example, the grasshopper and the cockroach. Here you can see, look at this slide shows the head, where you can see the mouth is present at the ventral side. The ventral side, so where you can see the mouth is surrounded by the mouth parts. Head is present at the anterior end below the jaws Okay, at the ventral position, the mouth is present. Hypognathous type. Prognathous, in front of the jaws. The mouth is present at the in front of the jaws. Pro means in front, gnathos means jaws. The head remains in the same axis, anterior position, same axis to the body, and the mouth parts are projected forwards in front of the jaws. Okay, so this is also known as coleopteroid type. So that means, so this type of the head can be seen in the insects belongs to the class order Coleoptera. The examples are the beetles. Here you can see, so this is the head. Okay, you can see the mouth is present at the anterior end in front of the jaws, and the mouth is surrounded by the mouth parts. The last one is the opistognathous. Opisto means that is behind the jaws. So it is same as prognathous, but mouth parts are directed backwards behind the jaws, between the forelegs. Okay, so this type is also known as hemipteroid or opisthorhynchus, and this can be broadly seen in different kinds of bugs. So this slide shows the image of the head, what is called as the opistognathous, where you can see, so this is the mouth. Mouth is present behind the jaws, in between the forelegs. You can see the mouth is present behind the jaws, and it is surrounded by the mouth parts. So this is about the types of the insect head. The next is sclerites and sutures of head. Sclerites are nothing but, so they are the irregular plate-like chitinous structures which are present on the head. Okay, the head capsule or the head is formed by the union of number of sclerites. Here the sclerites refers to, they are the cuticular plates or the areas which are joined together. They are the irregular plate-like hard chitinized structures. They are joined together by means of a line or the ridges. They are known as sutures. Here there are two important terms you need to understand: sclerites and sutures. Sclerites are the irregular plate-like cuticular plates, hard chitinized cuticular plates, and these plates are joined together. They are joined together by means of a ridge or the line, what is called as suture. This is called as suture, and the cuticular plates, irregular hard chitinous plates, are called as sclerites. These sutures provide mechanical support to the entire cranium or the head, the wall of the head. So this slide shows the front view of the insect head, where you can see all this structure. So the insect head usually present at the anterior end of the body, okay, where you can see the compound eyes, the simple eyes, the antenna, and the mouth is surrounded by the mouth parts. The next is you have to study sclerites and sutures separately. The first is sclerites. A general insect possesses the following sclerites. All the below sclerites, the forthcoming sclerites, gets attached through a cuticular ridges, what is called as sutures, to provide the attachment for the muscles inside the cranium. Let us see one by one. The labrum. Labrum, it's a small sclerite that forms the upper lip. That is the mouth parts. In mouth parts, the first is the upper lip. The upper lip, it is a small sclerite. The labrum, it's a small sclerite that forms the upper lip of the mouth cavity. It is freely attached or suspended from the lower margin of the clypeus. Here you can see, so this is the clypeus. This slide shows the lateral view of the head, where you can see the clypeus. Okay, this is the structure what is called as the clypeus, to which the upper lip is attached. The upper lip is attached, what is called as the labrum. The labrum. The next is clypeus. It is situated above the labrum. It is situated above the labrum. So this is the labrum. Above the labrum, you can see this is the clypeus. Yes. The next is frons. Frons is the facial part of the insect consisting of a median ocellus. Frons is the facial part, the front part of the head. Here you can see, so this is the frons, front part of the head having a median simple eye, what is called as a median ocellus. It is present at the center of the head, and frons is the front portion of the head. Yes. The next is vertex. It is the top portion of the head behind the frons. Behind the frons, and it is present in between the two compound eyes. In between the two compound eyes. Here you can see this is the compound eye. This is the one side. Since it is a lateral view, you can see only one compound eye. The other compound eye is present on that side. Okay. So in between these two compound eyes and above the frons, so this area is what is called as the vertex. The vertex. Okay. And epicranium. Epicranium is the uppermost part of the head extending from vertex to the occipital suture. So epicranium next to the vertex. It is an extended portion of the head present above the head, and it extends up to the base of the head. Up to base of the head, that is the occipital portion. The occipital portion. What is called as occipital suture. Yes. The next is occiput. Occiput, it is inverted U or V-shaped structure presenting in between the epicranium and post-occiput. Here you can see this is the occiput and this is the epicranium. The epicranium and this is the occiput. Okay, it is inverted U-shaped or V-shaped structure. Here you can see. So this is inverted U or V-shaped structure next to the epicranium. Okay, occiput. Next is the post-occiput. Post-occiput, it is an extreme posterior part of the insect head, and it remains before the neck region. Before the neck region. So it is present at the base of the head, and before the neck commences, the post-occiput suture is present. The next is gina. It is the area extending from below the compound eyes to just above the mandibles. Gina is a portion that is very much present on either side. This is the portion. Here you can see the lateral side of the head. The lateral side of the head on either side is what is called as the gina. Next is ocular sclerites. These are cuticular ring-like structures present around the compound eye. So these are the sutures which are always present around each compound eye. So each compound eye. So these are the sutures which are present around the compound eye. The next is antennal sclerites. Antennal sclerites, they form the basis of the antenna. At the base of the antenna, the antennas are attached to that portion where the antennal sclerites are present. Okay, and they are well developed in Plecoptera. Plecoptera, as an order, comes under insecta. So where you can see the stoneflies. Stoneflies are the example. Okay, antennal sclerites, they are usually present at the base of the antenna, where the antennas are raised. The next is sutures of head. The common sutures of the head are as follows. The first one is clypeolabral suture. It is the suture present between clypeus and labrum. Between clypeus and the labrum. Here you can see this is the clypeus and the labrum. So these two are attached by means of a suture. By means of a suture what is called as clypeolabrum, clypeolabral suture. Clypeofrontal suture or epistomal feature. So this suture present in between the clypeus and frons. Okay, the suture, as all of you know, that suture is nothing but it is the area, it is a ridge, it is very much present in between the two bones or in between the two sclerites. In between the two sclerites. Sclerites are the irregular plate-like structures. They are very much present on the dorsal side of the head and they are joined by means of a sutures. Okay, clypeofrontal suture. So it is very much present in between the clypeus and the frons. As the name itself indicates, clypeofrontal. That is, clypeus and frons, they are attached by means of a suture, what is called as clypeofrontal suture. So this is clypeus and this is frons. So these two sclerites are attached by means of clypeofrontal suture. Right. The next is epicranial suture. So epicranial suture, it is an inverted Y-shaped suture distributed above the facial region extending from the epicranial part of the head. It is always present at the epicranium here. So this is the inverted Y-shaped structure where you can see the epicranium here. Okay. So next to the vertex, frons, next to the frons there is a vertex. Vertex is present in between the compound eyes. Next to the vertex there is a cranium, epicranium. Okay, so it is an inverted Y-shaped structure present on the dorsal side of the head. Okay, so this epicranial suture is also known as the line of weakness or ecdysial suture. Okay, this epicranial suture is also called as the line of weakness or ecdysial suture because the exuvial membrane which splits along this suture during the process of ecdysis. During insect metamorphosis, they shed the external outer layer, that is the outer covering will be shedded off. So that's why it is what is called as ecdysial suture. Ecdysial suture because the membrane, the outermost exuvial membrane splits along this suture during the process of ecdysis. That is the reason why. So this suture is called as ecdysial suture. The next is occipital suture. It is the U-shaped or horseshoe-shaped suture. It is present in between the epicranium and occiput. Epicranium and occiput. Here is the epicranium and this is the occiput. In between the epicranium and the occiput there is a suture, epicranium and occiput. So these two sclerites are joined together by means of a suture called as epicranium and occipital suture. Okay, post-occipital suture, it is the only real suture. It is the only real suture in insect head. That is the posterior end of the head is marked by the post-occipital suture to which the sclerites are attached. Why this is called as the real suture? Because this suture separates the head from the neck region of the insect. Hence it is called as real suture. This is the suture. It always distinguishes or separates the head from the neck. Okay, so that's why this suture is called as the real suture. Ginal suture, it is the suture present on the lateral side of the head. Ginal suture, it is present on the lateral sides of the head. Here you can see this is the ginal portion. So it is present in the lateral sides of the head. Ocular suture, so since the name itself indicates the ocular suture, it is around the compound eye. Around the compound eye the suture is present and this suture is what is called as the ocular suture. The last one is the antennal suture. So at the base of the antenna is usually the antennal socket from which the antennas are arised. So this suture is what is called as the antennal suture, that is usually present at the base of the antenna. Okay, so this is all about the sutures of insect head. Thank you.